Hi guys, this is Sunsun Mushi, and it's been a while since I've done one of these like question videos, but this is a video to like my response on like, I guess, what is time? So I figured if I want to draw anything that I will, so I brought this over here. So I guess the first thing I'll write is la question. What is time? To me, yeah, it's all a personal thing, you know? So, hold on, I need to take this out. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this upcoming video. What is time to me? So the reason I was thinking of this question, so basically what this is, it's like, so if you guys know me, I'm a big fan of like learning and stuff, so I've always wanted to be like a teacher of some sense. Like I went to college, or was like trying to because I wanted to pursue being like a math teacher. I wanted to be an algebra 2 high school math teacher because I believed it's ridiculous like how many people have had difficulties graduating simply because math is not their thing, or like they know that they don't want to be pursuing math at this time. And then another thing, like from, not talking negatively about teachers in general, because again, I want to be a teacher, and I guess we're all teachers for everyone and one another, of course. But from where I grew up and from how I saw things, I saw a lot of pretty lousy teachers basically, and especially math. So that made me want to be a teacher. So anyways, that's why I really like lecturing and stuff like that. But what this video is gonna be with me lecturing or whatever, or like talking about stuff and explaining stuff, it's really me just talking about like my day. Like talking about like how I got here just now, like what did I just experience to even like think about making this video. So earlier I was watching one of my weekly readings because I was like I was watching the Taurus one actually, because I wanted to see, because I forget my readings after I do them. So I was like, what was the Taurus one? So I was listening to it, and it was like Monday's this day, Tuesday's that day, and so forth. And with that in mind, like I was just kind of thinking about how like funny time is, because like I thought about like if the messages resonate with people, or they're like, oh, all of that happened already, or like that all happened at this point. But I was kind of seeing like why I like the weekly readings, because like let's say you listen to it now and you listen to Monday through Sunday, right? But then on Monday you're like, well, all that happened, but all that happened today. What happens next? Well, what happens next is now you're that much further along on your journey, like, so I don't know, I was just thinking of that and how like kind of interesting that is. And I was also thinking about like that's also why it's helpful, because let's say it's Monday for you and you listen to that video, now you kind of see it, and maybe that energy somehow happens all by Tuesday or Wednesday, but maybe you don't see the video until Saturday, and sure enough, when you listen to the Saturday one and maybe the previous days that you might remember, it's like it's resonating. So it kind of seems like a win-win, because if you see the video, to me, I think time is like cycles, and time is what allows us to learn. And so energy readings, like a lot of people are like, whoa, see the future? And it's like, nah, it's more like it's reading the energy of time. It's reading the energy of what we know about time. So the reason that got me thinking about this, actually, hold on, I need to get the book real quick. I'll be back. Oh, it's right there. Awesome. Okay, is this like diary thing I got a while back. So I got this journal thing because I wanted to get into journaling, and I like opened it and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like on this day, it's like, I don't know, I'll just find a part where it's like, while we're in this season, focusing on career and goals is good. While you're in the season of Sagittarius, like wisdom and travel, stuff like that. So there's like a whole part where you can like write. And so I tried doing that, and I like really tried doing it, and I absolutely hated it. I was like, no. So I stopped, pretty much. But something I did find really cool in this book. There's a lot of things I find cool, but overall, I'm not really looking at it pretty much ever. But what I found cool that is actually applying right now is that I learned that there's a weekly energy, that Sunday is represented by the sun, Monday is by the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday Venus, Saturday is Saturn. And so like I think that's why also like astrology is probably so like strong with like predicting, I guess. It's just we are reading the energy. So like I think the reason why, you know, tarot readings really work, and time being illusion, so like technically future already happens, but like it happens infinitely, so like it can change, of course. But like I think what contributes to how the tarot, like how you're reading energy, it's like, you know, like if I'm reading Wednesday, chances are it's going to have something to do with the fact that like Wednesday is ruled by Mercury and stuff like that. And so if you're always in tune with the universe, in the universe everything is always moving, that means it's not just a Wednesday from this book, it's the Wednesday of February whatever 2019, because the energy you're putting that intention into is set for a time, or rather a location where the stars are all here at this time, the energy affects in this way. And so the universe, my intuition, will then pull out a card for that day. So like tarot reading is really just kind of like a magic trick, that it's like, whoa, how are these guys like seeing all the future and all this stuff? It's like pretty much we're not. Though like I guess, but I mean like it's, I should take that back. I mean like, how does tarot reading like do its thing? Like how does that really work? Like it can't just be as vague as the universe. Though it like pretty much is, like to me anyways. This is all, of course, all an opinion based video, and that's everything, you know. But like my opinion is that like I lost what I was saying because I was like, what's my opinion? Something about the universe. Oh, the answer or whatever, with like how does tarot work, what about time and all that stuff. It's like, well, if we're all talking about astrology and how like, you know, like when the sun hits us directly, we'll feel it differently. When it's in a different area, we'll feel it less. That will affect our mood differently. Just like if someone's like being really loud or really quiet, that's gonna mess with your senses one way or another, in different ways. So that's happening on a universal scale, literally, because we're in the universe, you know, or this universe, whatever. And yeah, so with that all in mind, we are a part of it. So naturally we can tap into that energy because we are that energy. So when we flip cards and our intuition, our higher self, spirit, the order of events, it allows us to see energy in a different language aside from time. Everything is a form of energy, so everything has its own language, you know, like words, humming, eye contact, like movements. These are all languages. So for the same reason that, like, you know, it's like, how do these planets move, and it's a language of energy, how can we, who's not even that planet, be tapped into that? It's because we all speak the same language. The same language is energy. And so pretty much it's like that can kind of trip people out, because then it's like, do we have like, well then are we really in control of our situations ourselves and stuff? And the answer is yes. And it's like, how can that be if it's all up to the universe? Well, that's the trick. It's all up to the universe, right? But who's moving your arm? Yes, it's the universe. You're not wrong. I had a real strong experience about how the universe can control your body, literally. And I personally really enjoyed that. But, like, that's because to me, I am the universe. And you are the universe. We're all the universe. So much how the universe is just controlling all that stuff, all of this stuff is moving on its own, we are that too. So because of that, literally our consciousness is the exact same thing as the consciousness of the rock or the planet or a rock or a planet, whatever. All this stuff everywhere, everything is consciousness, I guess, because it's like it's doing its thing, it's going with the flow, as are we. Whether we know about it or not, the planets must be affecting our mood, just like how the weather affects our mood. The weather totally affects our mood. And so all the planets and everything and space and time, these are all much just like how the weather impacts our mood. And so since we are exactly the same as that, we are just as important as planets, stars, pebbles, ants, bees, whatever. We're all kind of energy, you know. The only difference is we have these bodies in this physical space and we're doing stuff. But, like, you know, we're doing stuff because it feels a certain way. We have feelings. You get good feelings, bad feelings, whatever, you know, opinions and stuff. And so the important thing about all this is really, in my opinion, to have fun. Like, you know, people are like, life is tough. Life is this. Life is that. And yeah, there are good and bad. There's painful things and all sorts of experiences. There's all sorts of stuff we can witness that is terrible. Much like how, personally, I would never watch, like, a Saw movie. But I've got a few friends where they love the Saw franchise. Like, Calvin and Jamie. And I'm like, I'm just not a fan of horror, like, at all. And I'm not trying to say, like, people are, well, slightly, but, like, no. I'm not trying to say, like, people want to, like, have a terrifying life or a really bad experience. Who wants to have a bad experience, you know? So if that's the case, and if we are the universe and we can choose our reality, why not believe that this whole thing is supposed to be fun, that this whole thing is supposed to be about love? I kind of think like love and fun are very similar things. But obviously, if you take all of these positive words to an extreme, you can make them out to be like not really like something optimal, like balanced and peaceful and stuff like that. But how did I get to this part of the conversation? Energy and stuff. So, in time, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. So basically, with all this, like, moving and stuff and being able to move our bodies and we're a part of the universe, naturally, if I flip cards, it's like, well, how can you just effortlessly flip the right cards, right? Well, it's like, that's like asking, how can you effortlessly just tell the truth? How can you effortlessly just be open and honest? How do you do that, you know? You just do. So if you have the intentions of it not making sense, yeah, you might flip cards that seem like they don't make sense. If you have the intention of telling people what they want to hear, maybe the cards you flip will accurately do that. They are gonna match your vibration. So I believe in myself. I believe I'm honest and open. So therefore, when I do these messages with tarot, I believe I'll get what my heart is telling me about the day's energy, aka predicting the future. It's not really predicting the future, though I guess it also like is when you look at the future as time and stuff, but it's more like just giving honest energy of what that day has in store energetically for whoever, for if it resonates, of course, because there's lots of us, so of course that day can go completely differently for a whole different person. So the intention I set is, well, I hope the right people hear these messages. Yeah, kind of like if you're like secret spies and like the spy from the opposite agency like intercepts the message. When that happens, that's what I see as like people who are not resonating. They watch a video and it doesn't resonate with them, but they're here. I see it as like there's totally nothing wrong with that. That's kind of the goal, you do what you want. But I see it as like, okay, you're like a spy in another organization. But not really, because I'm not saying these spies are like battling against each other. Like at all. I'm just using that as an example, like the concept of a message being intercepted by someone that I guess it clearly wasn't for, because the person themselves said, oh yeah, this message has nothing to do with me, that's so like if a message doesn't resonate. But yeah, that's kind of what time is to me. Time is more like cycles. Time is more like what we know about where everything is going to be at in that time. And then because we can do that, that tells me that we exist outside of time. Because if we just exist in this moment, how can my subconscious flip a card about Saturday or Sunday or like the next day? How can it flip cards about the measurement of all of energy if it's not that, if it's not a part of it, Like that doesn't make sense to me. So I guess like the way I feel is like, if we weren't the universe, then yeah, flipping tarot cards probably wouldn't work. If we were just in this one moment of time, like this is all that exists in the moment, the future doesn't already exist, if that were the case, then yeah, tarot cards probably wouldn't work. But a lot of things give me reason to believe that time is very similar to a choice. Time is very similar to progress, to lessons, to cycles. Things will happen when you know certain things. So this all cycles back to like, what do I think about my weekly energy readings? That was the first thing I was actually thinking of tonight that I wanted to do a video on. But at some point along the way, I was thinking about time as I thought more about that. The reason I was thinking about like, why do I like the weekly readings, and how they can resonate at different times and things like that. It's because these are just measuring progress bars. And just like in school, there's some kids who like learn a lesson really fast. There's some who learn it like after a certain amount of time. Like everyone is going at their own pace. So I guess with my readings, this is like the messages I get for the pacing that is meant to resonate with people. And then of course, depending on you, the student, maybe you resonate with them so strongly, you're like, well, all that just sounds like yesterday. Like, that's not even my week. Then Spirit is saying, then you're right on time. Like, perfect. And then maybe that whole message, Monday through Saturday, it's more like Monday happened, but then it was a week later before the Tuesday happened, and it's time is feeling that much slower, I guess. Then that's also fine. So I think time, what time is, it's us. We are time, I guess. So you can speed it up, you can slow it down, but only for yourself, not for others, and what you learn. And so if you learn all of everything, like in the year 1900, or I don't know, in the year 200, now for sure I know there's like probably not any sort of like, there's no phones there, right? Like probably. So like in the year 200, if you have all this knowledge, what's that gonna do? You don't have the time in the future where things, you read the future, like, oh, in the future there's gonna be flying cars, but in the present there's no flying cars, or in the year 200 there's no phone, computer, there's no this and that. So that's why, it's like learning super far into the future might not do anything. So it's like, basically what I'm trying to get at that is that there's no such thing as being too late. Like, if I do a weekly energy reading Monday through Sunday, like for the week, and, it's like, as a student, maybe the lessons are taking longer. Monday goes for a year, 5 years before the Tuesday lesson comes in, Is there something wrong with that? Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with that. Every student deserves to be here. Everyone deserves to learn and grow. Now, that can sound painful, but typically what you're going to learn through the journey, or the hope of what you learn, is love, light, positivity, balancing light and shadow, understanding positivity doesn't mean just like blind optimism. It actually means being well aware of of light and shadow, and loving both, and seeing how they can both be still a positive thing, a positive experience. An upgrade. Upgrade always sounds pretty good, So, yeah. So I don't know if I really... What is time to me? I guess, like, this is just my opinion for right now. My answer changes every time. Time, ha ha ha. Punny. But, yeah, no, like, my opinion on things always constantly changes. Like, my friend Jamie knows, and a lot of people who talk to me, or you guys know, like, I guess I'm wishy-washy. I'll say a lot of different things, but ultimately they're all kind of like nudging at the same stuff of like, you can do whatever you want, you're awesome, love and light, like, I love you all, and like, we should all love ourselves, is my opinion. I truly believe we should all love ourselves. I remember growing up and saying that stuff, and people would be like, oh, even if this, and back then I was like, why are you even mentioning that, like, awful thing, or whatever, or what might be seen as awful, but now, I'm just like, well, yeah, like, maybe, like, I don't know, I'm like, does that really apply? Someone who loves themselves, I don't think would do that. I don't know, that was a whole different topic, but it's just hard to explain that because the past already happened, and so the moment is gone. But I just remember as a kid, there were certain moments where people would kind of debate with me certain things, and they thought it made sense, and I can see how it makes sense, but like totally, not only back then did I already see like that doesn't make sense, but now I'm just kind of looking back and I'm like, yeah, no, kid's son had it right. Like, love is the answer. This is about being cheesy. It's very much about taking care of yourself and stuff. Cheesy stuff is very emotional, you can cry, you can laugh, like, it's just very pure. Speaking of which, if any of you are interested, you should watch or read One Piece. It's the best series ever. One Piece is my life. A lot of things are my life, of course, but like, yeah, One Piece, super cool. I read last week's new chapter and it was pretty good. A lot of twists that more or less make a lot of sense to me. They actually make total sense to me. All of it. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't know, lately I've been like reading One Piece and I've been noticing like people always get so like, whoa, like by plot twists and stuff, but me, well, not like, but me, I'm a true fan who knows. No, like, I'm just as surprised as everyone, but I'm not like as like hyped, because it's like, for me personally, I'm like looking for like the romance, the history, and all that, but people get really hyped when like, okay, but there's certain action things that I'm hyped for. Everyone's just got their own stuff they're hyped for. So basically what I'm trying to say is, lately the plot twists for this arc like everyone's been so hyped for this arc. It's called the Wano arc. I'm not spoiling. It's just called that, and that doesn't take away from the series. But everyone was so hyped for it for like probably a decade or something. Like people knew it was on the path of the series like a decade before it happened or something. So I guess that was around 2009. Maybe even sooner than that. I could search what year around people like learned the name Wano and knew that the main characters would have to go there eventually. But anyways, everyone's been really hyped for it, and I am too, but I'm not hyped for it for the action like everyone else is. I'm hyped for it for like, well, the action's definitely going to be super cool too, but like I'm hyped for like yeah, like the history and the romance and the story and stuff. So that stuff hasn't necessarily happened yet because that's going to take time. But everyone's like, whoa, this chapter, whoa, this chapter. And usually I'm like that. But this arc, I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. I'm still waiting for enough hints to drop where suddenly the arc comes together. It's like people are getting mind blown basically way too easily is what I'm saying. Like it's like I know Wano's going to be mind blowing and I know it hasn't even done it yet, and a lot of components that people probably missed have already happened, myself included. There's definitely tons of stuff that I just won't know is a hint or a sign, but there are certain panels and stuff that I've looked at and I'm just like, that's important. I don't know. For someone, I don't know. I'm just like, I was gonna say for someone who does a lot of tarot cards and stuff, I'm pretty good at seeing sort of certain things sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking about One Piece now, but yeah, the chapters have been really lit, and I know that they're more lit than I know. But I don't think it's because of everyone who's hyped right now from the plot twists. I think the plot twists that are happening right now are not the actual plot twists. Those are the ones where it's like, yeah, those are plot twists, but those are plot twists that are gonna impact like how the arc goes. They're not the plot twists that explain like the history that was there this whole time. Yeah. So I'm just really excited for that. Yeah, and there's definitely been those panels where that's been building up, and those are the ones that no one ever talks about. Like the panel where someone's like, they ask a question and that's all, but like nobody is like talking about that. They're all talking about like, ooh, like that person just like is about to fight this guy, and I'm like, yes, that's cool, but like, guys, there's the other stuff, but I don't know. That's just a bit of how I'm feeling with the latest chapters. That I'm still anxiously waiting for. Ow! My muscle cramped in my leg. I've been like overdoing it with yoga. But yeah, I was like, I'm just anxiously waiting. That tells me that it's coming soon though, but I don't know when. I don't know how long the Wano arc is. I just want it to be over, not because I want it to be over, but because I want to know everything. So I'm so excited for this arc. And I think people have a right to be excited where they are right now. But it's like, whoa, I'm really, really excited because they're going to be so thrilled with the other stuff. And they know that other stuff is coming because at this point in the series, there's no way you made it this far and didn't learn that there's tons of like history and like stuff that is gonna blow your mind, because it blows your mind every time you read it. Like I swear, like first volume you're like, okay, that was emotional, that was cool. Second, third, fourth, fifth volume you're like, okay, they're characters, this is emotional, cool, they're going on a journey, all right. But like eventually when you start to notice that like there's a ripple effect to all these things going on, it starts to get really cool. I guess it's like similar to like why people like really, really enjoy Doctor Who, because it's like, whoa, like all this stuff, it all connects. It's like that, but in like the most smooth, fluent, adventurous, fun, who cares way. So it's very spiritual. It's like the universe. While we're on this topic, another series I love is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Obviously, the cartoon show, not the stupid live action. Well, like, if you enjoy the live action, that's totally fine, but I hate the live action. I could not make it through the whole thing. Like, and no, that doesn't mean I didn't give it a chance. I like, no, it's just don't watch the live action. If you haven't seen Avatar: Last Airbender, please just take my word for it. Watch the cartoon, the animated series. It's a TV show. It's not a movie. So any Avatar you're seeing that's a movie, it's a trick. That's not Avatar. I promise. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my video on what is time to me. So I didn't end up needing to draw anything or feeling like I wanted to, because I guess I just had a lot to just say. But yeah, any of you guys who enjoyed this video, if you made it this far, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed this. I hope this was a positive video for you guys. Hope you had a good time hanging out. A thing I want to really do is a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I might do a live Q&A just so it's like easier and more interactive. So I might do that actually soon. Yeah. So lots of love and light, guys. This will upload at some point. Yeah, I'll just upload it now and then go to sleep, and this will be up in the morning. But yeah, good night, guys. Take care.